Happy Thanksgiving. Is there like a music for it? I don't know. I don't know if there's a music for Thanksgiving. Anyhow, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to Level Up Circle TV. They're like, CJ, shouldn't you be like in the kitchen cooking or baking? Let's just say that I burned my cookies because I was talking to my sisters since 7. And I'm like, yeah, let's do our makeup. Forgot that I freaking have my cookies in there. So after this show, I'm going to have to go bake another cookies before my kid wakes up. She's like, "What my chocolate chip?" I don't know. It burned. Anyhow, I am so glad that you guys are here. I have a couple of things that I want to be grateful for. I do have a lot. First of all, I'm grateful for God giving me life and waking me up today. I'm grateful for my have and have nots. I have not had any more issues, major like cancer. I am having less migraine this month, so I'm grateful for that. Knock on wood's probably coming up right in the corner. I am neutral, less moody for the last week, so I'm grateful for that. And I am grateful for my dogs, my kids are healthy, my husband's healthy, and my sisters, right? And Danielle hasn't been here in a hot minute. And so I'm glad that she's here today. I'm grateful for Susanna and Danielle being in my inner core circle. Can I say that anymore? It's obnoxious, huh? But I just wanted to be grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful for people who's watching us and constantly supporting us, whether you're doing it through engagement or silently. I appreciate you. And I'm grateful for a lot of things. And this year, when it comes to creation, um, I I mean, look at this. This is so amazing, right? Out of this 9, I actually like 8 of this is with my sister Susanna. Actually, there's more notebooks in there, but I didn't. This is just books and magazines. But we started the year with Beyond Boundaries, and I'm so glad the people who were there at this moment were there. And it made me reflect that some people are really not meant for your journey. And I'm grateful for people self selecting themselves out of my life. I really appreciate you for doing that. I'm grateful for you. I'm glad that you kick yourself out of the project because it gave me more energy and boost. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for God for watching my back. And I want you guys to think about this. When you have a friend, and at the moment you're good with a friend, and somehow something happened, and you're willing to work things out, but somehow it just doesn't work. That is God giving you redirection, that they're not meant to be in your journey and in your life. And this year we've had those, but the ones that are constant in my life are my sister Susanna and Danielle and sister Mike. That's another story. Anyhow, oh man, Beyond Boundaries, my sister Susanna's project, we take turns because that's what besties do. We take turns. And as business partners, we respect each other's weaknesses and strengths, and we don't focus on our weakness. We do highlight it, but then we move on because we're solution oriented people, right? We try to stay as positive as possible, even though people in life itself drags us down. We keep living, we keep thriving. And for the third one that I did, actually, it's the same release as the Rebel with a I didn't even realize it actually until after the fact. And then my ADHD kind of move on to another project. And Susanna's like, hey, by the way, your Mike to Millions went number one new release. I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? I was totally out of it. I wasn't even realizing I did release both because I was so focused on Rebel with a Cause. And Mike to Millions is going to be repeat next year because it's all about making sure that you as a business owner have a say in your business through podcasting. That's really the way. And then Rebel with a Cause came, amazing individuals, amazing people. And then now we're actually putting this for next year. But you know what I put in here that I didn't because I want to highlight? It's going to be Susanna's project, and I'm going to highlight it because this is special to me because she did the book cover. And her and I bounce ideas like, oh God, I don't know, 15, 20 times. And Danielle probably rolled her eyes and said, listen, sisters, pick one. Because we were going on our text messages at midnight, at 1, picking whatever. And I'm going to highlight that in a minute because she created it. I gave her ideas and she went for it. And that's what I love about Susanna. She has grown so much this year, and I'm so proud of her. Danielle has grown so much this year, and I'm so proud of her. And I can't wait to have them on here to be thankful for everything we've got and what we don't have as well. And I'm so proud of Level Up Circle Magazine because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired on getting, trying to be on all these magazines and you have to wait forever and then you still have to pay 5 grand or 2,500 for whatever. I've been on almost 2,000 SEO links and magazines and syndicated this year. I'm grateful for that. It's because of my curiosity that gets me, I don't want to say in trouble, but like gets me in places. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Because I don't take no for an answer. It might be no for you, but it ain't going to be no for me. I'm going to try to figure it out, break the system, and put it back together. So I have 4 magazines. Now, this one, the last one, Reinvention, is the only magazine that if you get in now and you paid for it, next year you'll get in for free. And every quarter, I will be your accountability partner. I will actually ask you to every quarter, hey, what have you transformed and reinvented this quarter? What are you going to do next quarter? So, come January, when the magazine comes out, I will be knocking on your door if you're part of this Reinvention magazine because I want to be your partner all the way next year, more like a silent partner to push you, to inspire you, to get you going. Even if you hate my guts, it's fine. But I want to push you all the way through. And that is what I'm doing with these magazines. And this is what I'm talking about right here that I want to highlight that I didn't put on that because I want to highlight this. Look how amazing my dear sister is. She went from, I don't want to do nothing, I don't know anything about this thing, and blah, 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 to this, right? Because she trusts me as her friend and I trust her back. And that's what happens when you trust each other. This is what happens, guys, right? She did that cover. How amazing. Embrace your authenticity, find belonging in a resistant world. And the world is so crazy. I don't want you to sell me anything, but I want to buy. I don't want you to like do this for me and be vulnerable, please. And then you judge. Like you people are crazy. That's why everyone is nuts. Okay? That is why. Don't let me do, but I want to buy it. What is wrong with you people, right? And anyhow, I'm going to highlight and I do need to update this. But look at that smile. Look at that smile. She has a company, Moving Beyond Boxes, and she is going to be focusing more on speaking next year and, of course, writing books with me and on her own solo projects. And then, of course, she wants to level up if you own an organization on belonging because belonging equals productivity. If you haven't figured that out, ask Susanna what I'm talking about. Of course, my sister, Mike. This just gives me a smile. If you are currently in the Hounds of Business, please read up all the posts that Mike has been doing because we are having a big, 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 huge change on December 1st. That is next week, guys. Okay? It's coming up in a couple of days. I'm just saying. So, Hounds of Business community where everyone is here together to support each other. Are we for everyone? No. And I'm sure you're going to hear rumors. Oh my God, Mike is this or CJ's this. Just check it out yourself, right? Anyway, are you guys ready for my sister? I'm done talking. I can just smell my burnt cookies. Okay, ready? I love pushing my buttons. How are you, sisters? Let's start with Danielle. I haven't seen her. She's been out of the scene. What's happening, sis?
I have just been pouring myself into healing, really. Lots of changes in life. Like some of you no, it's been quite a journey with my husband as he's healing from having 3 strokes this year, and then all of the life changes, like he might have to retire. And so we've just been pouring ourselves in what we can control now at this juncture. It's almost been a year, and yeah, it's tough. And I think I came to a point where I couldn't mask or exist like that anymore. So I had to just retract myself from everything and just hone in on what we need to do for our family. So that's a lot of the reason why you all haven't seen me.
But how are you overall? How's life?
Um, to be honest, it's very difficult on days. Uh, because my husband's condition, he still has therapy every week for 2 hours of the day, which is like half of the day sometimes. Or the whole day, right? Because he's so fatigued from cognitive therapy. I'm answering your question. It's hard. Um, and I think, being honest, it's like a juxtaposition between like having to exist because we have to, or, not like that, but, like having to do what we have to do to take care of our family. And then there's just like overwhelming weight of responsibilities that are often hard for people that either caretake for a loved one, or are going through something like this. So, honestly, super grateful for everything we have, of course, but also very mindful that it's been very hard. It's been a tough year.
Yeah, it's been a tough year. We know. Susanna and I know very well. I
Mm.
think that sometimes situations you can put in the back burner and said, okay, I'm over it. And the trauma doesn't repeat because you take the thorn. It's like having a rose, right? You want to smell it, but it's like thorn, thorn, thorn. So when you hold it, you get damaged. But if you keep holding the dang thing and you know that it's going to hurt you, it's going to continue to hurt.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's the situation that you're in. It's because it's not like, oh, he is this and he's healing, boom, it's done. It's continuous for the rest of the life, right? So I
Mhm.
think that that is hard to heal sometimes when you get traumatized every day, almost like every week. There are different things.
Yeah.
Um, you're so strong. I just want you to know that God gave you, God gave your family you because you are the foundation and the rock that holds together. And I think sometimes we say it and people say it to you, but
Mhm.
sometimes you don't believe it because you're drowning with just to-do list and no
Ye
time to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for everybody out there who are having a tough day today, because we all have that, right? Like someone we know is just alone. Or and you could have a lot of people around you and still feel alone, you know? Um, for me, sitting in church yesterday, singing really gave me peace. And I was just thinking, what am I going to say tomorrow? And I just hold on to this verse that's like, God is my strength and my portion forever. That's it, even on the hard days, even when I feel like everything's falling apart. And when you have sisters that support that and love you. So I'm just super grateful for you both. I was thinking I was going to send you guys, but since we're on here, I'm like, my lifeline. Like, I know who I need to call when everything seems like it's falling apart and I can't control. And just to vent and let it out, like, you both have been there for me throughout the year. I don't know, I certainly think that it's definitely God who sent both of you into my life as blessings. So I'm certainly really grateful. I said that twice for everything.
I like how you're thinking and you're verbalizing it at the same time. That's what we do. It's really like I want to acknowledge Asana too because there are times when you call I'm not available because my life is crazy when it comes to work and life in here, trying to manage life. I have my own sets of issues, but nothing compared to yours in terms of like that constant trauma like that, you know? Again, we have different issues, so we can't compare, but I'm just thinking like If I was in the situation, would I be able to handle? I don't know. That's why God didn't give it to me. Just like Bella said, I am not meant to be a boy mom because I would traumatize the boy girlfriend of my boy, and my son. I'm worst helicopter mom. She said if I had a son. So she's like, Mom, God knew better. Just knew you that you would be so terrible as a boy, Mom. That's what Bella said. I'm like, how rude. Now, Sister Susanna's been there for both of us. I know you first and I introduced you to Susanna, and I'm so glad that we are all in the same circle, like inner circle. I'm grateful for you, Sister Susanna, for your inner strength, your discernment, your ability to see people right through their bullshit. I said that in the YouTube. Whoops. Their BS. I meant, and yeah, it just went out. I value your heart and I value your thoughts more than you know. And I'm grateful for you. Now it's your turn.
How do I follow that up? Um, I mean, it's been a roller coaster year, but quite frankly, the times that I needed somebody, you were both there. And it's like begin it with Podfest and different stuff through the year, but knowing who's got my back. And like Danielle said, I'm grateful to God for everybody that's been put in my life, and you two are at the top of that list because I wouldn't be. I don't know where I would be right now without you two. And thinking about the fact that with you two, I mean, you said this before. You've got all these people who are like, "Oh, be vulnerable. This is a safe space. You can say anything." And I'm the first one to sit back and go, F no, because there is something in that room or there's something in those people that I don't trust. But with you, all I got to do is drop one emoji, and you know where I'm at. You know that I'm not in that space. And it actually, where it really came down was during that period after we lost Jess. And then I was able, because we dealt with it in our own ways. And you and I, sis, we had a much tighter relationship with her. She was in Beyond Boundaries. She had just signed up for Rebel. She was so excited to be a part of it. She's like, she signed up, told you she was going in, talked with you, but then she sent me a message separate. It's like, so excited to be back in. And then she's gone, and you and I both have our roller coaster periods, or actually more like a slide. That's how I put it. To me, I did my posts on what it meant to slide down into the valley of the dark valley of the shadow. And I've seen a couple people actually figured out what I was really saying, because that's straight from Psalm 23. I just didn't add death to it. That's all. So being able to open up, being able to just say, this is where I'm at, and have somebody just say, get on Zoom now. And the next thing I know, because I know the minute that you do something like that with me, you're like, what's going on? I can't hold back. And it's like, I think that's why God put you there, because I've never in my life had anybody that I could look to who I could open up like that, that I could open up and not have a part of my brain going, how's this going to get interpreted? How's this going to get interpreted? What about this? If you say that, then they're going to do this. But with you two, that doesn't show up. And you're the only two in my life that's been that way. And that's why it's like I'm so blessed. And I look at God and I know how many times he's kept me out of trouble. And most of the time I didn't know it until afterwards, until an after the fact thing. That's why I just sit back and go, yeah, that's my belief. If you don't, that's fine. But that's me. That's what I've seen. And then to put you two in my life has just been a huge blessing.
Yeah, I read your chapter. I'm sure you read mine too. I'm just grateful for a lot of things. Last year I got diagnosed with my ADHD. Danielle actually said, "Hey, CJ, I have ADHD, but I think you might have it too." And I'm like, I'm curious. I'm gonna go see. And it's not the first time that I asked for a psychiatrist to evaluate. And 4 of them said, "No, I don't have it because I have degrees." And, people who have ADHD usually don't have degrees. That is such a kakamumu. I'm just saying. Um, so not true. There's, maybe back in 1970s, that's the case. And I think maybe I have a feeling because I've read about 7 different journals and about 6 different books on ADHD history. And I think they have done that study on boys, not girls. I'm just saying. I think boys do have a tendency when they do have ADHD to go all over the place and they cannot concentrate on academia, and they concentrate more into sports, which I could see. But with girls, I think we are more into academia. I'm not saying we don't do sports, we do. But I think the ADHD people are okay with academia because we like to do multiple things all at once. And it actually helps our brain if we read this, 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 and this, and this. Sometimes we don't finish the book, but we've read it, like some chapters to it, right? So really, if you think about it, it's a linear effect. Danielle got it first. She has it for years, and then she told me about it, and I got curious. I'm like, what's one more psychiatry or psychologist? What's one more, CJ? And I really was looking for this time a specific ADHD psychologist because I know that niche needs to be not just any regular psychiatrist or psychologist because they don't know. They give you layman's terms of it's like better than Google because they're a doctor, but not all doctors are created equal. Some of them are barely making it. See average. I'm just saying. Yeah. And so when I got diagnosed and I told Danielle about it, and then I was watching my sister Susanna, I'm like, you know what, sis? I think you need to go check yourself out. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, just check yourself out. And she did. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it only takes one person to change your life. We are all about moving beyond boxes, but you have to recognize which box you need to move beyond from, so you can move from it. I'm just saying. And I love that your discernment with when it comes to room, because we were on somebody's summit or whatever, right? And we were like, yeah, be vulnerable and share about whatever. And I was sharing certain part of myself in some capacity, but I knew better. If I'm not comfortable you talking behind my back on what I share, I won't share it, right? Especially publicly. So I was fine with that. But you did have this particular person that we got rid of now. I'm grateful for that. That you're like, I'm not going to do it because of this person. And I ask you, okay, why? And you're like, I don't know, but there's something about this person, and that's the thing remember when I give you guys high intentions, right? It's because when you have this thing, this feeling, this intuition in your gut telling you, but you just can't figure out or label what it is, go with that because your gut's never wrong. Now, I want to actually have a conversation on communication and miscommunication because I know Danielle and I have had a couple projects this year that, yes, I'm going there, that I think would have a high potential and opportunity for growth. And this can be relatable to everybody who's working with projects at work, or maybe as you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur. Miscommunication happens all the time. However, how you react to miscommunication makes a huge difference, because remember, you can control yourself and not others. So I'm going to talk to my sister Danielle about what are some of the things she's learned on miscommunication and how to not, I wouldn't say avoid it, but I guess more of like control what she can control in miscommunication.
Mm. I think it's important to note what you're saying is like, I can only control my communication and how I put out information or react, or the words that I say. I think it's, I try to be mindful. Um, and I am a pretty empathetic and but I can get, very passionate. Um, so to answer your question, I don't know if I'm answering the question, but deep breaths, I think. And this year, learning not to give information um, that you need to hold very close to you and with people that you trust. Um, you know, and in my case, I think in some situations it comes down to um, using the situation that I'm in currently to influence me. I don't blame people for doing that, because that when you do something, it's what's in it for you. But what I've learned is just you can't trust everyone with the information that you have, um, and you have to have discernment. That's a big word, discernment, for who you can share it with. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it hurt, still does. So that's another reason why I've not been very outward on any social media, is because when you go through that, I have a tendency to give everything, my heart. My family jokingly calls me nonprofit because I'm always helping people for free, constantly. I mean, like the lady at Toyota the other day. And yeah, it's just learning who um, to do it with and who to entrust information with, so that you can kind of avoid miscommunication or misunderstandings to happen. Because I want to believe that not everybody, people don't mean to hurt you. I don't think it was anybody's intention to do that. And, it was just honestly a miscommunication, misunderstanding. And it did stunt something. That's not to say we couldn't still do it, but stunting something that could have been great. That was a long answer. Sorry.
Hey, you got to get it out. I'm like, hey, you got to get it out. Um, yeah. So you guys both know that I do cognitive behavior therapy, and I still continue to do it on my own and remind myself. Um, this book, Cognitive Behavior Therapy Made Simple, I love that says the power of thoughts. And let me read some part of that. It says, for something that can't be seen, heard, or measured, thoughts have incredible power. Our mood for an entire day can hinge on how we interpret a single disappointment. Thoughts can also have a profound effect on our behavior, affecting whether we forgive or retaliate, engage or withdraw, persevere or give up. No matter what you've been struggling with, chances are that your thoughts have played a role, either in causing your distress or in prolonging it. That is a powerful paragraph if you really self reflect,
Mm-hmm.
because our fight or flight come and kicks in. I think age, for me at least, I can't see it for somebody, because I do know somebody who's older and you still play like a 2-year-old. But certain people at a certain age do change. When I was younger, I think my fight mode was at 100% and I didn't have a flight mode. Like I don't run for nothing. And yes, that got me in trouble a couple of times. I did have bad temper, but I think it was more of an anger, not a temper. I was mad at the world. I was angry at everything because given of my history, right? With not having parents and all that. And I was just an angry kid. And I took my anger and switch it to academics.
Mm.
But if anybody questions at anything, at any time, at any point on anything I do, I will go for you. Even if it's tiny thing like, oh my God, CJ, what are you wearing for now? The first respond what I did, I'm like, why are you buying it? Like I was very sarcastic all the time. And I will be getting in your face. I'm like, well, if you're going to complain about it, then give me $2,000 so you can buy and replace my suit. If you don't like it, go look somewhere else. Like I had that type of attitude that I couldn't be quiet. I was just always snapping. Because I was in my head living. Like I felt like people were out to get me all the time, or if they look at me the wrong way, how I interpret, then they're looking down at me, or all of those negative things I was thinking. But as I age, it's like, why do I care about what people think at this point? Why do I care what they say? And I have proven over and over myself to show that to myself that I don't have to be hurt by words or actions by other people because it's my action that counts. And that took a long time, guys, to get there, like 20 years. And I'm still healing from it and I'm still growing. I'm not saying it's that, but really that paragraph, like your thoughts really is causing you distress or prolonging it because people create their own reality in their heads when it's not. People create narratives about other people when it's not true. But people, you are gullible. If someone tells you and sways you for an opportunity and you're actually not seeing the whole thing. And, another thing is humility. Stay your feet on the ground. Don't think that you are doing this and doing that and it's so successful and blah 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 and people are talking about it that it's going to be forever. Life is a pendulum. It goes back up and it goes back down. Today you might be a CEO, tomorrow you might be a toilet cleaner. How you treat people should not be any different. How you respect yourself and how you carry yourself makes a huge difference on how you're going to be living life. And also, you might have little people in your house that is watching or who is watching every move, every word. I know mine does, even though I think she's not there, but she's listening. Because after this, she's like, Mom, you said this and that. I'm like, oh my God, just close your ears, put your plug. Like, that's what I always tell her. So my next question to Susana is, what is the planned? What are we manifesting 2025?
2025. There's actually a lot. Some of it only you know, and I'm not gonna say it, but a lot of it is it's a growth. I think I don't know my word for the year until New Year's Eve. And so the last 3 years, it was faith, fly, and soar. This year, you were talking about words, I think, within the last week. And the one that hit me was explode. It was, or explode, ignite, that kind of an approach. Next year, it's going to be more books. Next year, it's the speaker building out a really hefty speaker platform. And going into the year, because I know a lot of people are like, you have to go through this, you have to, all this time. I only have to go through whatever God wants me to go through. And if he's like, it's time, doors open. That's the way that's how my life has been. I talked about the times he saved me, but there's the times that he's opened doors I thought would never be opened. We wouldn't be sitting here if he hadn't opened some of those doors for me. So that's the speaker, the writer, the consultant, and we're even talking and even creating some classes with Level Up. So we've talked about a vision board class for this can be like a couple of months long. And I've got a lot of writing classes in mind, especially I think it's time for a new how to write or writing for anthologies class, because we have so many anthologies out there. I want people to really have that comfort level to write. So I think somebody's mentioned like some retreats that we should put together. So I wanna see the retreats happen. I feel like next year is going to be a travel year and a really good year.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to put together a highlight for this year. I've highlighted our books and magazines, but um, I don't know if I can even do. I need an assistant to highlight my year this year. There's so much to be grateful for, so much, right? How about you, sister? What is 2025 look like for you?
Me?
Yeah.
I think my word next year is empower. And so, there have been a lot of healing, continued growth. And I can't necessarily say exactly what things I'm working on because, yes, it never stops. But it will be life changing in the world and life changing for my family. So I'm looking forward to a year of more growth and more success financially. And I recognize the struggles that I've gone through and are still working towards going through and healing from. But I think that all of it was necessary so I could be right here with my sisters. Because if everything was perfect, would we all be sitting here? Probably. But, there's no perfect, so yeah, that's what it is for me. It's a year of empowerment for me to grow from, I guess, the things that we've gone through and to really build together.
I have so many words, like one word for next year. I think for me, it's going to be elevate. Leveled up my own level up self. I think I have outdone myself this year. That's worth a lifetime. Like if I quit next year and said there's no more Level Up Academy, I don't want to do TV shows or radio shows or magazines or anything I'm exhausted by. I would say that this year I have elevated myself and pushed myself on limits that I didn't think was possible. Last year I was dreaming of having a TV show. It ended last year. I think November is when I started. So it's been a year now that I started TV. I think I only had one show. And then I was like, what about radio? So this year I've created my magazine. I've created the radio. I've had 2 shows of TV. I have leveled up my podcast. I have moved my Instagram from 300 to 81,000 now this year as well. YouTube have elevated to more than 50,000 this year, 63, I believe, or 62. I have outdone myself and I had 1,400 SEO links from one press release and major magazines like AP News, Google News. So anything that you want to throw at me at this point, I've seen it when it comes to amplification. And so next year, I'm going to see what I can focus more, right? So that I can elevate not just myself, but others. I really was reflecting on this thought when I was scrolling Instagram. I don't remember who said it, but it's not an original thought coming from me, but the things that I'm interpreting it based on what they said is this. When you see an apple tree, the apple tree needs what? Water and sun, really, right? But it doesn't eat apples. Avocado gives you avocados, but it doesn't eat avocados. Peach gives you peaches, kiwis, right? All of these things, all the kinds of trees. But what is it for? So that you and other people can eat from the tree. So when you are a business owner, yes, you're doing it for helping others and, getting your money so you can help more people. But at the end of the day, it's not about you and what you do for your business. It's about other people, right? So if you think about it, and I think I've seen people where they want to be in all audio rooms and they feel like they are the authority in what they're saying. But I hope that you record yourself and get perspective. Living in your head and perception doesn't level you up nor elevate you and your brand. Living on perspective and your perception, combining the two, and be very honest with yourself. And I hope that you have a friend that's honest to you on telling you, hey, these things could change for you. And I don't like this thing. I am such a straightforward person. I can be brutally honest. You could still be brutally honest and still take care of my heart, right? Like, seriously, it's the way you communicate. And that's why miscommunication happens. So for me, the word is to elevate. I'm going to concentrate on elevating the right people. I know what they look like now, the people who are and should not be in my peripheral. But as a Christian, I can see why God gave them to me this year. Is this time it's not for them, it's for me to learn. It's for me to learn to take care of my heart and my energy and my time and my effort. It's for me to see and grow and said, CJ, if you are going to die in 2 years from now, I hope that you've learned your lesson on the different kinds of people that I give you in your life so you can learn from that and take something that's positive. And even though the people who are not grateful for Susanna and I scholarship, you're not grateful for our services, we see you, it's okay. We still care for you. I think that you're still a good person, but I hope that you self-reflect and when the words called mindfulness comes into for my head. So I'm going to read this. What is mindfulness? The mind focuses on things other than what is happening right now. Most of the time, we're thinking about events that have already happened or that might happen in the future. That's our well-being is often affected by the things that have little to do with the moment in which we find ourselves. The mind continually evaluates our reality as good or bad. It does so based on whether things are working out the way they want them to. We try to cling to circumstances we like and push away those we dislike. I want you to reflect on mindfulness on that. When you preach mindfulness, and I know a lot of people do, you need to be mindful on yourself and not just teach other people on what mindfulness is. Stop repeating what other people already have and have your own original thought. You are smart. You have a brain. You have a heart. You have 2 hands, 2 legs, right? Pay very attention. Don't get your mind twisted on something else and be true to yourself. When you are mindful of what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are, that's when the growth happens. And it's not easy. However, if you see people that are distancing from you, it's because you're not mindful of your own actions that affects other people. Again, record yourself and see exactly where you can pivot, change, elevate, and level up. Okay, I think I'm done with lecture. Sisters, take it away before I keep going.
Yeah, I actually, before you said it too, I was thinking that word too, mindfulness, and growth. Like, I think those go hand in hand. Um, so in order to grow, I think you need to be mindful of how you're moving. Like, and, yeah, I'm not messing with Susanna until after the book is published. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Just off the dome, I think mindfulness is really important, if you want to grow. And, back to what Susanna says all the time, like, be your authentic self. Everybody else is taken. Um, be grateful for who you are, which has been very difficult for me too. So just saying. Yeah.
Mike, I don't think, sister, you don't know me that well. Running out of stuff to do. I know you're being very facetious right now. Um, Susanna and a couple of people who have master's degree. I know it sounds so like inclusive, but it is because it's academic. Okay. I'm trying to get us published and elevate more than just an anthology at that point. It is somewhat of an anthology, but it's an academic anthology. How do you like them apples? Yes, I'm doing that. I'm manifesting it happening next year. It will be research and everything else. Susanna, do you have anything to add to what I've already said? Please save me before I start lecturing again.
Well, yeah, okay. The clock's going to save you no matter what. Okay. Um, yeah, it's always interesting to observe people, and I guess that's one of the things I do a lot of, because I'm not always the talkative one. I leave that to my sister. And so actually both of you can out talk me anytime. Um, I can keep up though. But so many times we're in these rooms and you start listening to what people say, and another aspect of the mindfulness is understand what the conversation is that's going on, because so many times people, it's like the audio rooms. Somebody shows up on stage, you ask them a question, and they never answer it, but they talk for 5 minutes. And sometimes I'm not sure what they really said in that 5 minutes, because it doesn't really touch on the question. It might say stuff that somebody else has said, or other people have said, and that's totally fine. It's like so and so said, and build on it. But mindfulness, they need to they need it. Mindfulness is awareness. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it, and one of the things I say, you can know what you're supposed to do, but if knowing is half the battle, then awareness is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
So people are in the room, and you can tell them, and they can say, yeah, I know that, but they never do it. It's like, you don't have that extra piece of pie today when you're already over full, but you'll do it anyway. It's like, you know it, but the awareness won't let you take action. You don't have it. Awareness is what lets us take action to make the change. That's the other thing too, is change. So we can talk to some people, we can say over and over the same thing to try and help them move from where they are out of whatever box is holding them back. But without that awareness, without that ability to take action, because they know, but they're not aware, it won't change.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody says, and I've gotten in trouble for this in some ways, because somebody would say some things about me, and I would see the reality of it, and within a day or two I've changed. Then they think I'm people pleasing. When you change, when you have awareness and you're taking care of yourself, then you have that well-being, that's, to me, that's kind of the direction you want to go. Don't say, I know I need to change. I know I need to change. Ignite that freaking awareness and take the first step. And the first step, it doesn't matter how big it is. It can be small, it can be big. It just has to be. Hey, Homer.
I know. Happy Thanksgiving, bro. I don't know why, but like this song comes up to my head. I don't know if you know this, Asana. I think it's Monica and Brandy. Or maybe it was just Monica. You know the song that goes, just one of them days when a girl goes through, when I make her inside, don't want to take it out on you. I just want to be all alone and you think I'm doing wrong. That is what's popping on my head right now. Anyways, I am grateful for all of you. Salamat, Homer, for coming in. I need to interview you, I think, on TV. And this time you have to wake up, okay? Because we're going to do a Tagalog version or a Bisaya version. And we're just going to go all out. And they'll be like, CJ has gone bananas. What is she talking about? Why does it sound like a rant? Yeah, because people don't believe that I can still speak Visaya and Tagalog. And I don't have a Maarte accent. I can literally do it with the whole entire accent, okay? So we're going to go there, Homer. Huh?
Don't think you're speaking minion. That's all. You've talked about it enough.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Squire Homer, because he calls him Sir Mike. Anyhow, we just wanted to tell you guys we are thankful. We're just kind of going through 2024 a little bit on what's going on. I'm going to have TVs on Thursdays actually for December to promote what we're doing at Level Up Academy and obviously Hounds of Business and with Susanna Dawn and CMC. And moving forward, don't forget, guys, we have a free event on December 14th for our Power Summit. It's limited seats, so it's free. It's free summit to come in. I'll have AI people. I'll have IT people to come in to give you hard skills and soft skills. And I even have a person who's going to be doing international business coming into the works, okay? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I got to go make more cookies. Bye. Oh, Saturday's your last day to pay $300 for a scattered pages. You guys don't forget that's the only Black Friday you'll ever see. After that, it goes up to $400 on Monday, really, or Sunday. And then after this month, it will go back to $500. And then maybe even after our March book, it's going to go up to $600 as inflation is here. So we got to keep up with it. Got bills to pay, y'all. Bye, everybody. See ya.